Einstein was a successful businessman with wealth, money, and houses galore. But despite his outward success, his marriage was crumbling. He was notoriously stingy with his wife, Sandra, often denying her requests for money and making her feel worthless. Meanwhile, he would lavishly spend on women outside their marriage, leaving Sandra feeling disrespected and unloved. Sandra, tired of being treated like an ATM, decided to take drastic measures. She faked her own kidnapping, leaving Einstein in a panic. The kidnappers, who were actually her friends, demanded a ransom of 50 million naira from Einstein, claiming they would harm Sandra if he didn't comply. Einstein, desperate to get Sandra back, agreed to pay the ransom. But when he was about to transfer the money, he realized he had to explain to his accountant why he was paying such a large sum. He hesitated, weighing his options. Meanwhile, Sandra's friends, posing as kidnappers, kept Einstein on the phone, trying to get him to understand the gravity of the situation. "You have a wife who needs you, Einstein. She's not just a possession, she's a partner," one of them said. Einstein finally agreed to pay the ransom, but only after negotiating a lower amount. When Sandra was rescued, she played along, pretending to be shaken. But the real drama began when Einstein realized he'd been tricked. Sandra revealed her plan and the truth about his stinginess. Einstein was shocked, but also humbled. "You wanted me to value you, to see your worth," Sandra said. "I wanted you to understand that I'm not just a wife, I'm a partner. I deserve respect, love, awe, and support." Einstein broke down, realizing his mistakes. He apologized to Sandra, promising to change. He gave her the 50 million naira and more to start her own business. He vowed to be more generous, loving, and supportive. Sandra's business flourished, and so did their marriage. Einstein learned a valuable lesson: that true wealth isn't just about money, but about love, respect, and generosity. The story spread like wildfire, a cautionary tale for men. Treat your wife like a queen, not a servant. Be generous, loving, and supportive. Your wealth is nothing without a happy, healthy marriage. Lessons: 1. Treat your partner with love, respect, and generosity. 2. Stinginess can destroy relationships. 3. True wealth is about love, not just money. 4. Women are partners, not possessions. Einstein's mansion was a symbol of his success, and a testament to his wealth and power. But behind the grand facade, his marriage was crumbling. He was a man who had it all, yet he was losing the one thing that truly mattered: his wife, Sandra. Sandra was a beautiful woman with a kind heart and a sharp mind. She had given up her career to support Einstein's and had been a loyal wife for over a decade. But despite her efforts, Einstein's behavior towards her had become increasingly erratic. He was stingy with his money, often denying her requests for simple things like a new dress or a weekend getaway. "What's the point of having money if you won't spend it?" Sandra would ask, feeling frustrated and unappreciated. Einstein would just shrug, saying, "I'm just being careful, Sandra, for the future." But Sandra knew the truth. Einstein was cheap, and he didn't value her enough to spend money on her. And to make matters worse, he was spending lavishly on women outside their marriage. She had seen the receipts, the emails, the secret messages. It was like a punch to the gut every time. Sandra felt like she was living a lie. She was the wife of a billionaire, yet she was treated like a servant. She was tired of being disrespected, tired of being taken for granted. She knew she had to do something, but she didn't know what. One day, Sandra had a conversation with her best friend, Rachel. Rachel was a strong, independent woman who had always been there for Sandra. "Sandra, you need to take action," Rachel said, her voice firm. "You can't just sit around and let Einstein treat you like this. You deserve better." Sandra nodded, feeling a spark of determination. "I know, Rachel. I just don't know what to do." Rachel smiled, a mischievous glare in her eye. "Leave that to me, Sandra. I've got an idea." Sandra raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What is it?" Rachel leaned in, whispering, "We fake your kidnapping." Sandra's eyes widened, shocked. "What? Are you crazy?" Rachel just smiled, her plan unfolding in her mind. "Trust me, Sandra, this is going to be big." As the days went by, Sandra couldn't shake off the feeling that she was about to embark on a journey that would change her life forever. She was about to fake her own kidnapping, and she had no idea what the consequences would be. But one thing was for sure: she was ready to take the risk, to fight for her marriage, and to expose Einstein's betrayal. Sandra and Rachel spent the next few days perfecting their plan. They mapped out every detail, on from the fake kidnapping note to the ransom demand. They even went so far as to create a fake social media post, claiming Sandra had been taken by unknown assailants. "Are you sure about this, Rachel?" Sandra asked, her nerves starting to get the better of her. "What if something goes wrong?" Rachel placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Trust me, Sandra, I've got this. Einstein needs a wake-up call, and this is the only way he'll listen." Sandra took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She knew she had to go through with it, no matter how scared she was. The night of the fake kidnapping arrived, and Sandra's heart was racing with anticipation. She slipped out of the house, careful not to alert Einstein, who was busy entertaining his latest mistress in his study. Rachel was waiting for her in a nondescript van. I parked a few blocks away. They drove to a pre-arranged location where Sandra's other friends, Mike and Tom, were waiting. "Okay, let's do this," Rachel said, handing Sandra a phone. Sandra dialed Einstein's number, her voice shaking as she spoke. "Einstein, I've been kidnapped. They want 50 million naira for my release. Please, you have to help me." Einstein's voice was panicked on the other end. "Sandra, oh my God, who are these people? What do they want?" Rachel, posing as the kidnapper, took the phone from Sandra. "Listen, Einstein, we have your wife. She's safe for now. But if you don't pay the ransom, she'll be harmed. We'll be in touch with instructions." Einstein was frantic, begging for mercy. Rachel hung up the phone, and they all breathed a collective sigh of relief. "It worked," Mike said, grinning. "Now let's see how far Einstein is willing to go for his wife." The group waited anxiously for Einstein's next move, knowing that their plan was about to expose the truth about his marriage. As the hours ticked by, Einstein's anxiety grew. He was pacing back and forth in his study, trying to decide what to do. His mistress, noticing his distress, asked what was wrong. "It's Sandra," Einstein said, his voice tight with worry. "She's been kidnapped. They want 50 million naira for her release." The mistress's eyes widened in shock. 50 million naira? That's a lot of money, Einstein." Einstein nodded, his mind racing. I know, but I have to get her back. I'll do whatever it takes." But as he said the words, he was already thinking about how to negotiate the price. He didn't care about Sandra's well-being. He cared about saving his own skin. The phone rang, and Einstein snatched it up, hoping it was the kidnappers. It was. "Einstein, we've got your wife," the voice on the other end said. "We'll give you a chance to save her, but you have to pay the ransom. And don't try to involve the police, or she'll be dead." Einstein agreed, his mind racing with ways to get out of paying the full amount. He was about to learn a valuable lesson, that his wealth and power meant nothing without his wife's love and respect. Einstein was on the phone with the kidnappers, negotiating the ransom. He was trying to haggle the price down, but they were firm. 50 million naira is the price, Einstein," Rachel said, her voice cold and menacing. "You have 1 hour to deliver the money, or we'll harm Sandra." Einstein hesitated, weighing his options. And he didn't want to pay the full amount, but he knew he had to get Sandra back. He agreed to pay the ransom, but only after negotiating a lower amount. Okay, I'll pay 30 million naira. That's all I can afford." Rachel laughed, a cold, calculated sound. "You're not taking this seriously, Einstein. We'll give you a chance to reconsider. You have 30 minutes to deliver the money. If you don't, Sandra dies." Einstein panicked, realizing he had to act fast. He called his accountant and instructed him to transfer the money to the kidnapper's account. Meanwhile, Sandra was safe and sound, enjoying a spa day with her friends. They were laughing and joking, having a great time. "This is the best kidnapping ever," Mike said, chuckling. Sandra playfully hit him. "You guys are crazy. I hope Einstein is suffering." Rachel smiled. "Oh, he is. Trust me." The 30 minutes were up, and Einstein was frantic. He had transferred the money, but he was starting to suspect something was off. He couldn't shake the feeling that Sandra was behind the kidnapping. He called the kidnappers, his voice shaking with anger. "What do you want from me? I've paid the ransom. Where's Sandra?" Rachel laughed, a cold, calculated sound. "You want Sandra back? Come and get her. But be warned, Einstein, she's not going to be the same person you once knew." Einstein's heart sank. What did that mean? Suddenly the door opened, and Sandra walked in, looking calm and composed. "Hello, Einstein," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Welcome to the end of your perfect little world." Einstein's eyes widened in shock as he realized he'd been tricked. Sandra was in on it all along. "You're behind this, aren't you?" Einstein accused, his voice shaking with rage. Sandra smiled, a cold, calculated smile. "I'm just getting started, Einstein. You have a lot to learn about what it means to be a partner." Einstein's world was about to change forever. Sandra's smile was like a knife to Einstein's heart. He felt a mix of shock, anger, and embarrassment as he realized he'd been played. You, you planned this, Einstein stammered, his voice shaking with rage. Sandra nodded, her eyes flashing with determination. I did, Einstein. I planned it because I wanted you to see the truth. You've been so caught up in your wealth and power, you've forgotten what it means to be a husband, a partner. Einstein's face turned red with anger. How dare you? I've given you everything. What more do you want? Sandra's voice was calm, but her words were like a slap in the face. You've given me nothing, Einstein. You've taken and taken, but you've never given me anything of yourself. You've never loved me. You've never respected me. You've just used me as a trophy, a symbol of your success. Einstein's anger faltered, replaced by guilt and shame. He knew Sandra was right. He had taken her for granted, had cheated on her, and had treated her like a possession. Sandra continued, her voice rising. You want to know why I faked my kidnapping? It was to show you that I'm not just a wife, I'm a person. I have feelings, I have needs, and I deserve to be loved and respected. Einstein looked at Sandra, really looked at her, for the first time in years. He saw the pain in her eyes, the hurt and the anger. He saw the woman he had married, the woman he had promised to love and cherish. He felt a wave of regret wash over him. He knew he had made a mistake, a big one. He knew he had to make it right, but he didn't know how. Sandra, I'm sorry, Einstein said, his voice cracking with emotion. I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong, so wrong. Please forgive me. Sandra looked at him, her eyes searching for the man she once knew. She saw a glimmer of that man, and she decided to give him a chance. I'm willing to try, Einstein, Sandra said, her voice soft. But you have to promise me one thing. You have to change. You have to learn to love and respect me, not just as your wife, but as a person. Einstein nodded, tears streaming down his face. I promise, Sandra. I'll change. I'll do whatever it takes. The room was silent, the only sound the quiet sobs of Einstein. Sandra felt a mix of emotions, but she knew she had made the right decision. As they stood there, the silence was broken by the sound of cameras clicking. Rachel and the others had been recording the whole scene, and they were now capturing the moment on camera. Perfect timing, Rachel said, smiling. This is going to make a great story. Sandra smiled, feeling a sense of closure. She knew she had taken the first step towards reclaiming her life and her dignity. The days that followed were a blur of emotions and revelations. Einstein was forced to confront the damage he had done to his marriage and to Sandra. He was humbled, and he knew he had a long way to go to regain Sandra's trust. But Sandra was willing to give him a chance. She had seen the pain and regret in his eyes, and she knew he was genuinely sorry. She decided to forgive him, but she wasn't going to make it easy for him. Einstein, with a newfound sense of purpose, began to make amends. He started attending counseling sessions with Sandra, and he began to understand the depth of his mistakes. He learned to communicate with Sandra, to listen to her, and to respect her boundaries. Sandra, too, was changing. She was rediscovering herself, and she was finding her voice. She started pursuing her passion for business, and she launched her own successful venture. The 50 million naira ransom money, which Einstein had paid, was now being used by Sandra to fund her business. It was a symbolic gesture, a reminder of the price Einstein had paid for his mistakes. As the months went by, their marriage began to heal. Einstein was becoming a new man, and Sandra was blossoming into a confident and independent woman. Their friends and family were amazed at the transformation. Einstein, once a controlling and stingy husband, was now a loving and supportive partner. Sandra, once a timid and submissive wife, was now a strong and confident businesswoman. The story of their marriage spread like wildfire, a cautionary tale about the dangers of taking love and relationships for granted. It was a reminder that true wealth is not just about money, but about love, respect, and generosity. Einstein and Sandra's marriage was a testament to the power of forgiveness and redemption. They had faced their demons, and they had emerged stronger and wiser. As they sat on their couch, holding hands and looking out at the sunset, Einstein turned to Sandra and said, I don't deserve you, but I'm grateful to have you. Sandra smiled, her eyes shining with love. I love you, Einstein. I always will. Einstein smiled back, feeling grateful for a second chance. He knew he would never take Sandra's love for granted again. And so, their new beginning unfolded, a journey of love, forgiveness, and growth. A journey that would take them to places they never thought possible. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you like the story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.